on your tables, you will find somewhere among the papers a brochure that looks like this, except if you're table 14, this is yours. Coming to Edmonton this summer is the North American Interfaith Network Connect 2018, a meeting of the North American Interfaith Network, an association of interfaith organizations from all across North America. And they are coming to Edmonton, and you have the opportunity to be part of it. Have a look at your pamphlet on your table, share it with those around you, and you will notice that our theme speaker is the Lieutenant General, the Honorable Romeo Dallaire. We also have Dr. Marie Wilson, Stephen Kakfui, Nikita Valerio, Sachi Curl from the Angus Reid Institute, and the Reverend Dr. Robert Sellers of the Board of Trustees of the Parliament of the World's Religions. It is an amazing event happening in Edmonton from July 31st to August 3rd. Could I just have a show of hands of those of people who have already registered? Or maybe stand up because people can't see you. So there's a few of us. So there's your opportunity. Thank you, Madam President.
Look at it. That's the name conference?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know what you were talking about. Okay, thanks. Me for sure?
Now? Now? Okay. Kathy Jackson is our registrar, and we'd love to hear from her. While she's going to the podium, those commissioners were meeting in Activity Room 3 here in Millennium Place. Activity Room 3.
President Kathy, guests, and conference delegates, good afternoon. My name is Kathy Jackson. You may not have met me yet. And I was the registrar for this 85th meeting of Alberta and Northwest Conference. So first of all, let me say thank you all for coming. A few of you have heard this already, but I have been telling people that 300 of my closest friends were coming to town this week. And look, here you are. Thank you so much for coming and making this such a great meeting. Another big thank you to my friends here in Sherwood Park and throughout Edmonton Presbytery for their invitation to meet here in Millennium Place and for all their work behind the scenes to make this meeting happen and to support my work. We were blessed by the work and the healing ministry of over 50 volunteers. Okay, come on. Some of them are here. And now for more statistics. At 2:07 p.m. on Tuesday, May the 8th, which was the last time I got a registration before I left the office for this meeting, there were 309 people registered for this meeting. And since that time, 4 more registrations have been received. So this number included 163 ministry personnel and 150 lay delegates. By presbytery, we have 44 people from Calgary Presbytery, 24 people from Coronation Presbytery, 53 people from Edmonton Presbytery, 22 people from Foothills Presbytery, and I might add, they have perfect attendance. They all came. We have 26 from Northern Lights Presbytery, 19 from Red Deer Presbytery, 21 from South Alberta Presbytery, 21 from St. Paul Presbytery, and 42 from Yellowhead Presbytery. Of the conference-appointed delegates, we have 30, including committee representatives, the General Council representative, Maggie, the moderator of the United Church of Canada, Jordan, and all of our other guests. We had 8 leaders of 9 children in junior highs and the conference staff. And if I may digress, President Kathy, please. On behalf of the conference staff, I have permission to thank you all for your kind words and expressions of appreciation for the work that we do. When I first came to work at the conference office, the culture was already established to be what was described yesterday afternoon. Colleagues with the intention to do our best to provide care to our ministry personnel and lay people and pastoral charges, and when asked, to make it happen. We are privileged to be able to support all of you and those not in the room as you do so much to make a difference on behalf of the United Church of Canada in Alberta and Northwest Conference. The people who have requested and were granted permission, I'm finished digressing. Okay. The people who have requested and were granted permission to leave this meeting will be listed in the record of proceedings. And finally, I have some personal thanks, because I don't do this registrar thing by myself. To the stewards and volunteers, the people who worked at the registration desks, those who helped to set up the table groups and performed other duties whenever I asked, to Wayne Flewelling, Hazel Flewelling, Joan Souster and the Local Arrangements Committee, to Catherine Moore and the Business and Technology Committee, and to my conference office colleagues, Melanie, Earl, and Anne. In conclusion, it has been my pleasure, this is going to be hard. It has been my pleasure to serve as the recorder for conference meetings for 25 years and as registrar for 7 meetings. This gives Thank you. Oh my, no. I have another sentence. Thank you all. They pay me, you know. But this gives me the benefit of being part of the bigger story of Alberta and Northwest Conference, not just the voice on the phone, and to connect with my closest friends. Thank you.
Is George Rodgers in the court? Can he come to the podium, please?
Madam President, it's my privilege to present the courtesy report, which is an opportunity to give thanks to a number of groups and people who have helped to make this event possible. Kathy's already named several, so it cuts my work down somewhat. Yours too. Well, we're together, eh? And I acknowledge the assistance of Kathy Kohler from the Business Committee in helping to put these names together as well. President Kathy, you and I have something rather significant and unique in common. You wouldn't know that, but I will tell you. I happen to be, or was, the last president of Alberta Conference. What that means is that 33 years ago, when conference met in Calgary at MacEwan Hall, University of Alberta, Alberta Conference decided to change its name and become Alberta and Northwest Conference to include portions of the conference beyond Alberta boundaries, which made me the presiding officer, the last president of Alberta Conference. And now, President Kathy, you are going to be the last president of the Alberta and Northwest Conference. So that leads me into thanking our president, Dr. Kathy Yamashita, for her gentle but firm and steady leadership, as well as a pretty delightful sense of humor. So we acknowledge Kathy and thank her very much.
You should sit down because you're going to make me cry.
All right. We give thanks for the presence of Evelyn Day and the greetings that she brought to us on behalf of the Treaty 6. We express our appreciation to representatives of the General Council, our moderator, Jordan Cantwell, whom we will hear tomorrow, and Maggie Dieter, whom we just heard a few minutes ago. We thank the Music Resource Team, Liz Painter from Calgary, Myeon Kim and her helpers, who presided and led us in music. The Friends of Conference, Leigh Sinclair and her father Bob Sinclair, and Monica, who assisted today as well. I asked what were the most important things they felt they were doing or being asked, and much of it was, well, two things. One, they delighted in giving hugs to new people who needed them, and often they were asked, where is so-and-so at what table? And so they were able to guide people and make connections with one another, so we thank them for that. Several committees, of course, have been at work for a considerable period of time to make possible this event and its flow. And so we acknowledge the Theme Committee, and the Conference Meeting and Planning Committee, and the Business and Technology Committee, and the work that all of these committees and their members did to plan this meeting and to carry it out and to lead us through it. So let us acknowledge those committees and the people. Mention has already been made of the Local Arrangements Committee, and Wayne's a good friend of mine, and I know how hard he and others have been at work to do the planning that goes into that, and then the stewards and all of the other volunteers that they recruited to provide support and assistance in this room and in the other room to make things happen. So thank you to them. We thank all those who made presentations to this meeting, reports and brought proposals, because they provided the gist of the meetings and the business that we were able to do. So we thank them for that. We thank all of those who have allowed their names to stand for service, either within the conference or beyond the conference. A number of people have put their names forward. Some were elected to positions. Others are in positions to be considered, but many have agreed to provide service and leadership here or at the General Council level. So we acknowledge all of those persons who have put their names and themselves forward to be of service to our church. We acknowledge our caterers, Sina Catering in Sherwood Park, who provided the meals that we have had here. And we thank Diane and Fred Aitken, who have been at conference meetings before, for the coffee and the cookies, which provide a welcome break each time. We acknowledge the skilled sound and audio technicians of UVS and data on the spot dots process for voting, and that technical work that made things happen. The banner behind was developed, created, put together by two local women, members of Sherwood Park United Church, Bev Adam and Lana Watley. And they have done a delightful job in creating that banner and donating it and giving it to us, and we are grateful for that. Bev also, with Arnie, her husband, donated their keyboard, which Liz has been using very effectively during our meeting as well. To come back briefly to technical things, Alan Buckingham did the video that honored the staff, and a fair bit of work that went into that, putting that together for us, and we thank Alan. The chaplains and the people in the healing room and the healing touch provided support and an assistance for people who just needed something a little extra. And so we're grateful for them and for their presence and the work that they did, helping us all in times when we might just needed that extra healing and loving touch. This afternoon, we met the children at conference, and so we want to acknowledge as well Anna Constantine and others who worked with her, and the children who brought a delightful kind of leadership to us for that particular time as well. There are probably others that you are thinking of and aren't on my list, but we can silently remember them and give thanks. But it's a pleasure to acknowledge all of these who have made this meeting, the last meeting as it is of Alberta Northwest Conference, a very significant and memorable event. Thank you all.
Okay,
We would like to do a safety demonstration. If, for any reason, this meeting comes to an end sometime, you will find that you need to take off your lanyard from your head. And you need to separate into 3 parts. 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2 go together, like so, and go into an amazingly, fantastically beautiful Tupperware container on your way out. The lanyard goes into your sacred shoebox, where you hold all your sacred objects. This has been a safety announcement.
is Taylor Croissant in the court? Please approach.